Hey, everybody, I'm the Ranting Monkey, and with me, as always, is Scribe. Say hi, Scribe.
Hi, Scribe.
And sitting in for the lovely SDA tonight is SDA. Say hi.
Hi. El Paso was lovely.
Quickest trip ever.
I know.
Um, for those of you wondering why she's here, that event was canceled.
It wasn't. My
wasn't,
class was canceled, so I could.
You have no class.
Oh,
Can we kick
shots
him?
fired so early. No, we can't kick him.
We can.
Wait, I'm just trying to get in as much as I can before she does have to leave. You know, I'm trying to build. There's going to be a lag,
right.
so I've got to sort of make up for lost time, kind of thing.
Oh, is there going to be a backlog of insults?
No, that's why I'm getting them out of the way now, so that by the time you get back, we're back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
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 It's
Mm-hmm.
going to be the stream today. No, we can't kick Scribe because I haven't had a chance really to look at the news today, so I need him for that.
This whole stream is going to be a Crash Test Dummy song.
Yes. That was such a dumbass song.
The Weird Al version was much cooler.
I don't think I ever heard that.
Oh, it's great. It's a parody of all the tabloid things that happened in the 90s. Like it had a little thing about Nancy Kerrigan and the kid that got beaten in what was it? Not
Singapore?
Yeah, Singapore, and all types of stuff. It was just covering those scandals. It was funny.
Okay. So does anybody have any stories to start with?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I actually do today. Can you believe that? I did my homework.
Ladies first.
So Ben Carson found $500 billion that was just unaccounted for from HUD. So
Nice.
wasted, don't know where it went. Maybe it was stolen.
How did he find that?
I don't know.
Details.
She read headlines. She didn't read anything else.
Oh, so she's a millennial. Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Now, did he find the money, or did he find that
errors
money was
during an audit?
Okay.
Oh.
So he ran an audit and he found a big hole.
Yeah.
Okay. $500 billion.
Yep. $500 billion, $500 billion. So it's like a lot of dollars.
Do they have any, theories on where it went, or was this like purloined or something?
It was just $500 billion in bookkeeping errors.
I smell a congressional investigation on this one. That's
So-
$500 billion.
So that's a lot of money to not have track of.
Where are you getting this story from?
I'm seeing it on several places. I see it on
Yeah,
the
it's
Daily
on
Wire
several.
and a few places.
It's on
I
the
haven't
Daily
heard of.
Wire. I saw it on CNN somewhere. Daily Caller. It's on a bunch of them. It's
Okay.
like it's a top story headline.
Let's see.
$520 billion in bookkeeping errors. And these are the people we want in charge of our fucking healthcare.
I mean, at least we found it.
No, they didn't find it. Just found
they found the error.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
So does that mean there was actually $500 billion that actually went missing, or they just sort of screwed up and there was a phantom $500 billion that was, sort of processed but didn't actually exist? That's what I'm wondering. It's like, are we talking about actual like money went missing, or was it like somebody added an extra zero somewhere and someone assumed there was more money than there actually was?
What I'm seeing here, it doesn't actually say. It just says 500 billion in bookkeeping errors.
Right.
So it doesn't say whether or not money's missing. For all we know, the total money is exactly the same. It's just not accounted for properly.
Right. Yeah. The quote I've got: the total amounts of errors corrected in HUD's notes and consolidated financial statements were 516.4 billion and 3.4 billion respectively. Notes and financial statements. Okay. There were several other unresolved audit matters which restricted our ability to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence to express an opinion. These unresolved audit matters relate to 1, the Office of General Counsel's refusal to sign the management representation letter, 2, HUD's improper use of cumulative and first in, first out budgetary accounting methods of dispersing community planning and development funds. 4.2 billion in non-pooled loan assets from Ginnie Mae's standalone finance. Holy Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from the looks, I mean, go ahead.
This audit report contains 11 material weaknesses, 7 significant deficiencies, and 5 instances of non-compliance with applicable laws and regulations.
Nice.
So he's coming in and finding this, which means this all took place at least during the Obama administration, if not longer.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
goody.
I guess on the bright side, shit's getting straightened out. Yay.
Well, we'll see, I guess. So, yeah, so my question is this actually money missing, or is this phantom money that was never there and they just have to rebalance their books and somebody got away with being this stupid for $500 billion?
What I'm pretty sure we can say with some confidence is that they didn't underspend by $500 billion.
Yeah, probably so.
I'm
no,
pretty
Monkey.
confident in saying that.
I am confident that they underspent. That is absolutely what the government is known for doing. Underspending, not spending our money wastefully, right?
Right. That's what the government does. They're all about efficiency. Oh man, Don Rickles died.
I know. That was one of the stories I'm going to bring up. Who's Don? Of course, who's Don Rickles? CEO Sharkey. CEO Sharkey.
Who is that?
Who's CEO Sharkey? Did you not watch Nick at Night? The fuck,
No.
dude? Oh my God. CEO Sharkey was Don Rickles' show where he was like, it was set in a military kind of thing, and he was sort of like I think it was the God, what was it? It was the Navy, I think it was. It wasn't like McHale's Navy. It was sort of like McHale's Navy, because it was Don Rickles. And it was sort of a situational comedy thing. But yeah, Don Rickles was the king of insult comedy. He was a very talented. I mean, he was a comedian for like the last, 50, 60 years or something. He was active forever. And he just passed away at 90. He was in Dirty Work with Norm Macdonald. That's my sister and I's favorite instance where he shows up, where he's like, he goes up to Norm Macdonald. He says, why don't you move into the mountains with a horse? Leave everybody alone. It's just the way he says it, his delivery is just so fucking funny.
His delivery was what made him such a great comedian. He was just, it was mean, but it was just nice as well. It was almost a compliment to be insulted by the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that sucks, man. All the old ones are dying off now.
That's what
except for
happens to
Jerry
old
Lewis.
people.
Jerry Lewis is still alive. This is, I talked about this before. Every year when they start talking about who's going to die this year, my first thing is Jerry Lewis. It's got to be his year. I've been saying this for like the last 15 years, and he's still living. Oh my God.
I'll see the year that
The year that you don't say it, he's gonna croak.
I know.
You and I have already killed once.
Who's
Who
that?
did you kill?
I don't remember. You and I were talking about somebody, and then the next day they died.
Oh.
Who the fuck was that? I don't know. It was earlier this year, but yeah, we're not allowed to talk about.
I'll look at the people who've died so far this year. I'll find it.
Okay. We're starting on a high note. Dead comedians and government accounting errors.
Well, there's also Syria.
What's the update on Syria?
Okay, so well, first off, the headline on CNN, because we all need to know this, is what Clinton would do in Syria, because they did an interview with Hillary Clinton, because her perspective on this is very important. So what did Hillary Clinton have to say? Hillary Clinton, the civilian, no longer politician, although she apparently hopes to be mayor of New York at some point, maybe. Hillary Clinton called on the United States to take out Syrian leader Bashar al-Assad take out his air force on Thursday, saying after a chemical attack killed more than 70 people in the war-torn country. Quote, Assad has an air force, and that air force is the cause of most of these civilian deaths, as we have seen over the years, and as we saw again in the last few days, Clinton said in a speech at the Women in the World Summit in New York City. And I really believe that we should have and still should take out his airfields and prevent him from being able to use them to bomb innocent people and drop sarin gas on them. So she wants to have happen what she said she would do if she had become president. Yay!
Of course. That'll make everything better. Okay, I'm going to mute myself for a while. Y'all talk.
Okay.
Right.
So SDA, how are you?
I'm good.
That's good. Since now that we're alone.
Fuck. I had.
Well, if you say so.
No, I'm like, I just drew a blank.
Drew a blank. I don't draw blanks. But so let's see what else is going on. Celebrity deaths. Maybe it was Chuck Berry. It must have been Chuck. Or Bill Paxton. No, it wasn't Bill Paxton.
No, it was Bill Paxton. You're right.
Was it Bill Paxton?
I thought you were leaving.
I said I was muting myself for a minute.
Yeah, I thought you meant like for a whole minute.
You've upset her. You've disappointed her. She wanted you gone longer. She could spend more time with me.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so Bill Paxton. Yeah, we talked about Bill Paxton in reference to something, and the next day he died.
It was in reference to Weird Science we were talking about.
Oh, that's right. You were talking about that's right. That's what it was. Okay.
See, my memory sucks, but if you can jog it, I'll get there.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, so Hillary is advocating for what she's always advocated for, and that's somehow news. The end. But as far as Trump is concerned, his only quote so far is something should happen, unquote, with regard to the Syrian leader. And I think what Assad did is terrible. I think what happened in Syria is one of the truly egregious crimes. It shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't be allowed to happen, and so on. And apparently he interrupted a viewing of Rogue One to tell reporters this, because there's a monitor with Rogue One playing in the still photo I've got here.
Didn't the Assad regime come out and say that they didn't bomb any, they didn't drop any gas, they hit a terrorist target that was filled with gas
that
on
is
its way to Iraq?
Yeah, that is their claim, that they inadvertently released the rebels' stockpiles of gas or something.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, don't know which is.
Do we know if that's totally horseshit or?
Let's see.
The report I saw on it, I can't remember who it was. Somebody in some government position said that can't happen. The sarin gas would have burned up with the bomb, and they're positive it was sarin gas. So
let's see. If they have something more details on this.
So the Assad regime is full of crap. Is that what you're telling me?
That's the current byline. Yeah. So we mere mortals probably couldn't say for absolute certainty, but we're going on the assumption that he used the chemical weapons, and he did it directly, and it wasn't some kind of like collateral damage problem.
Okay.
Just saw a headline: Mexicans now prefer Canada over U.S. for vacations. Yeah, because they want to get away from Mexico.
Wait, Mexicans can afford to go on vacation?
Well, to Canada.
Yeah, Canada's cheap.
Man.
I'm sorry, was that insensitive?
A little bit.
About
Can
Canada?
we appreciate that I got yelled at for using clap emojis on Twitter?
Oh, was that what that was?
Why did you get yelled at for clap emojis?
Because I'm appropriating AAVE.
What the fuck is AAVE?
African American Vernacular English.
Well, wait a second.
AKA street.
Wait, like, is clapping between words a cultural thing?
Yes, it is now.
So I can't talk in this way without being racist.
Yes.
Oh, well, shit. I do that all the time.
If you talk like that again, I'm going to kick you out for being racist.
Monkey didn't like that.
I've never heard of that before. Clapping emojis is cultural appropriation. It was somebody just pulling your chain, like doing a whole thing.
No, she was like dead fucking serious. Because I was like, there's no way somebody actually Like, just no. I have more faith in people in that. And then
Wait,
no,
do they mean actually the use of just emojis or actually clapping? I don't understand.
the use of the emojis in the tweet, because okay, so this is in reference to the video that I made yesterday about the girl in diversity or whatever, and she was upset because I wasn't showing my face.
Right.
Which I think is silly because my face is all over my channel. It's very easy to figure out what I look like. And so I said, because one of the people who was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, baby, that you have to go through this. It's just terrible. And then having you. She was then later like, yeah, and she has a Milo shirt on. And I was like, with clap emojis, if you can see the Milo shirt, then you know what I look like.
Right.
And then this other woman was like, oh my god, you can't use clap emojis. What is wrong with you?
Wow. Okay. I don't use emojis at all because I don't think they're useful. They take up space and don't say anything, but that's just me.
I'm going to start.
I love emojis.
I guess I guess you better. Yeah, you can be a racist
They
too.
and I use emojis all the time.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, whoa. What is that supposed to mean? Yeah,
You're girls.
You're such girls.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit, what?
News headline just came across. U.S. launches missiles at Syria after chemical attack.
What?
We did what now?
The United States launched dozens of cruise missiles Thursday night at Syrian airfields in response to what it believes was the Syrian government's use of banned chemical weapons blamed for having killed at least 100 people on Tuesday. U.S. military
where are you
officials.
seeing this?
This is on, I think it was, it says U.S. News. I think it was on MSNBC, or NBC is the app that it popped up on for me.
Okay. Because CNN says nothing, BBC's saying nothing. Okay, MSNBC is saying.
NBC News reported Thursday that Defense Secretary James Mattis briefed President Donald Trump, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this is coming out of NBC.
NBC, okay, because MSNBC doesn't say it.
Is this like just now?
This just came across.
Does AP have anything
We
yet?
fired at least 50 Tomahawk missiles.
Holy shit! You're right. NBC got the scoop. Holy cow!
You heard it here first, folks.
What?
I can't see chat, so
yeah, this just happened because CNN doesn't have it, BBC doesn't have it. So unless NBC's making it up, dozens of cruise missiles.
Wow!
Holy cow!
Why would we do that?
Because.
Maybe they decided to go with Hillary's advice.
Okay. First important question. I'm hoping we talked to Russia before doing this.
I hope so.
I hope we talked to Russia before doing this because pragmatically speaking, if they did this cowboy style, this is okay. I'm gonna hold off until I know more. But holy shit!
Wow. I just hope there were no Russian planes parked on that fucking tarmac.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Well, then. This is so fucking bizarre.
CNN got scooped by NBC, if this is so, because they still have Hillary saying they should do that very thing on their headline right now. And BBC says nothing about it unless something's changed the last minute.
I really hope NBC just done the fucked up.
That would be funny. If they jumped the gun and like posted some pre-canned story or something.
I really hope that's what happened. Because
if we didn't talk to Russia, I sure as hell hope that's what happened.
Because
according to the article, there's been no response from Russia yet.
Because most people, including me, part of the reason why we voted for Trump was because like Hillary wanted that thing to happen and everybody was like, no.
Well, Hillary also wasn't willing to talk to Russia. Whereas Trump, depending on what conspiracy theory you believe, was willing to. The problem is that okay, I don't get it. It's like I say, either NBC has the biggest scoop on the planet right now, or
Cat's saying that Fox has it too.
Okay. Because wow, God, CNN looks like a looks like a bitch right now. Holy shit.
Right.
BBC too. I mean, of everybody, I would have thought BBC being all over the place would have it.
Yep.
Because they
coming across Fox for me now.
Okay, yeah. BBC just has a story about Trump hints at response still.
Yeah, that's a strong fucking hint.
Well,
Holy
yeah.
shit.
Okay, so, yeah. So we're gonna basically live vlog stream what's going on as stuff develops for the sake of posterity, because we're like watching a potentially drastic historical event taking place right now, depending on how these dominoes decide to fall.
Yeah, I really want to see Russia's response to this. I don't care about the Syrian.
Let's speculate for a moment, shall we? Let's do a little bit of
this like literally happened. I'm sorry, I'm just like, this literally happened 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy shit!
It broke. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So let's take a step back for a second. Okay, so Trump unilaterally, obviously, without. Yeah, sorry.
I just had read a headline. I didn't get to read the story, but that Russia said that they don't unilaterally support the Assad regime.
Right. Yeah, they talked to a Kremlin official who said, and I believe I'm quoting from the article, our support of Syria is not unconditional.
Yes.
Was the quote I got. So if that is, when I saw that, I was like, now that's very interesting.
Maybe that was a telegraph.
Maybe that was a telegraph.
Happened?
So
Russia said that?
No. A unnamed Kremlin official apparently said, our support of Syria is not unconditional, unquote. Now, how official that was, whether that was just sort of the public bubbling up of something that was going on in back channel, who knows? But let's hope that that is true and their wiggle room was there, because I have a feeling, see, they couldn't have done this unless they got Russia's okay. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, they're not even, regardless of what Trump thinks, the people around him aren't that dumb, I hope.
I wouldn't think so.
Okay, so he launched this strike. He doesn't need Congress's approval because it is sort of like a fast action war powers kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We are not, correct me if I'm wrong, we are not in a declared state of war with Syria. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we're not at war. Launched a preemptive strike. Where I guess, you could say, I guess, a retaliatory strike, even though
retaliatory, yeah.
Except what happened did not harm American interests. There was not a threat to American national security. This was an internal civil war issue that we have now conducted a military strike on a sovereign nation regarding their internal strife.
Yeah.
Now again, maybe I'm missing something. I'm not any political expert or anything, but that's a dangerous precedent, regardless of what your reasons are. That's a dangerous precedent.
Well, yeah, but at least we have an answer to the line in the sand that Trump is talking about, because this is at least a response. It's more than Obama ever did. I'm gonna guess we talked to Russia, whether we got their okay or at least said, "Hey, this is happening." We had to have.
Okay, so to take away the chemical weapons for a second, let's go, just because my mind's going in this direction. Okay, take away all the specifics. A sovereign nation has internal strife, and the administration in power in that nation does something that, the, quote unquote, the rest of the Western world sees as an atrocity or a human rights violation. Does that justify a retaliatory strike on behalf of the victims from a nation that is not at war with that nation?
It depends on who you ask.
I know. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Time. We don't hear about it as much. The French are actually pretty big on it. They like to go in and deal with people's internal struggles. In this case, because of the use
I have it from AP Mobile. Sorry, I have the AP Mobile app. U.S. attacks Syrian airbase with about 60 missiles. So
Jesus.
It's coming from everywhere now. I don't know how NBC of all people got it first, but
yeah, CNN's got a red line at the top of its page right now, but it's still, the headline is still what Clinton would do in Syria.
Damn, man. CNN's sleeping on the job today.
Yeah, this is supposed to be their bread and butter. This is what put them on the map, is covering war stuff.
Yeah, especially in the Middle East. Okay, yeah. So
CNN just announced it. There we go.
Okay, so assuming
But still,
assuming that Russia gave the okay, or at least gave the we will not protest.
We will not divide us. What? Sorry.
Yeah, we will not protest if you take action in this way. Okay, so we've now done this. Russia was okay with this, but I'm guessing this is probably it until further negotiations take place or something, because I don't think Russia would give a free check on or a blank check on this one.
With that statement earlier from the Kremlin, unnamed or not,
yeah,
to me this says there was at least back channel discussions going on. Because the only other option here is for Russia to go, this isn't okay, and fire back.
No.
Yeah, that would be
they
bad.
won't do.
Which I don't think that even, I don't, look, if you want to think that Trump is an idiot, then fine. I don't think even his worst detractors would say that he's that much
but
of an idiot.
On the flip side of things, the other question I would have is, okay, granted that Russia said go for it or we're not going to stand in your way, what did we give them to get that permission? There's no way that Putin wouldn't have in some way used this as leverage for, well, if you give us this concession, we'll not stand in your way. Do you think there might be something like that? Because I can't imagine he wouldn't.
Nikki Haley's address to the UN yesterday, I think at this point Russia is excuse me, I don't think we would have needed their permission or anything for this. Donald Trump could have just said, this is what we're doing, you might want to get your forces out of the area. We don't necessarily have needed their okay on this,
but you do need to say, hey, hi honey,
this is happening,
how's it going? We're gonna blow something up.
No, they got some kind of nod. I mean, whether or not it was like explicit permission or something, I would be amazed if they just decided to do this unilaterally without direct or back channel negotiations going on beforehand, because that would be a slap in the face of Russia, and then those that are the hardliners in Russia would not like that being sort of like ignored.
I just don't see, especially with the optics right now, I don't see Putin being willing to go to war over Syria.
Not after this, no.
Now, if we hit some of their planes, that might be a little bit different. If they had some of their assets in the area.
Yeah, if we hit some of their planes, we pay them back. If we hit some of their people, that's a different story.
Well, that's what I mean. Their personnel, their equipment. That would be a bad thing. For the record, my computer is giving me all kinds of problems. I cannot read chat, so if there's stuff going on there, please shout it out because I can't see it.
Okay, I'll keep an eye.
I just want chat to know I'm not ignoring you guys. It's just, this is why I'm getting a new computer, guys.
Yay!
Yeah. Man, I told you the other day, as soon as the gas thing started, that's a horrible place for us to be.
Well, especially since the whole narrative the last couple of days has been, Obama balked when the red line was actually crossed, and Trump isn't Obama.
Didn't do nothing.
Yeah. All right. So what's next then?
Really,
do we bomb this? Do we stop there?
It's going to depend on how Assad responds, because you're right. Whether we had the from anybody, whether the UN is on board with it or whatever, we just attacked a sovereign nation.
Yes.
And this isn't us arming rebels.
It's because I'm actually firing. 5, but this is like blowing my mind right now that this is happening.
When we used to bomb the shit out of Iraq back under Hussein, we had permission to do that of sorts. Yeah. We had the
UN resolution.
The reason we kept doing it is because there was the no-fly zone, and they kept firing at our missile or at our planes. Every time they do that, we would bomb something. This is different than that. This is literally unilateral. Well, I don't want to say literally unilateral. This is literally us attacking a sovereign nation.
Right, and the main point here is that the parent triggering event for this to happen did not threaten our interests, nor was an attack upon United States security or personnel or sovereignty or anything else. This is a humanitarian disaster that we take exception to as, human beings, but now we've gone and bombed another country over internal strife. I mean, if that is the precedent, then there's a whole list of countries on the planet that qualify for that same treatment.
The difference here, though, is the use of chemical weapons. And I don't know if how many of you remember this from the Gulf invasion the second time. There was a lot of talk about WMDs and all that crap.
Yeah.
Saddam Hussein at one point said that if there was U.S. military action, that he would use chemical weapons.
Mm-hmm.
He was just saber rattling. And at that time, France said if he did that, then they would join the invasion. He didn't have any. It didn't happen. But the world looks at chemical weapons in a very different way than just killing people normally.
Isn't it Geneva
We're okay with it
stuff, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It probably is. And probably even predates that. It should, after World War I.
Mustard gas.
Yeah.
Here it is. The Geneva Protocol. The protocol for the prohibition of the use in war of asphyxiating, poisonous, or other gases and of bacteriological methods of warfare, usually called the Geneva Protocol, is a treaty prohibiting the use of chemical and biological weapons in international armed conflict. So, yeah, they violated the Geneva Convention. Does that then authorize us to attack them? That's my next question.
I don't know.
I'm looking at
international armed conflict. This is national armed conflict. I mean, it's still not good to use gas on your own people, but this wasn't an act of war against another country.
Right.
This is so fucked up.
Yeah, and see, it would make more sense to me if, A, it was thoroughly proven that this was a state action upon its own people with chemical weapons and that it violated the Geneva Convention. And then B, if there was a UN council meeting about it, and then a decision was made as the, free nations of the planet and in condemning this, and then maybe something. But this happened really fast. I'm
wondering how the rest of the world is going to react.
We'll find out in about 20 minutes.
I can't believe this was unilateral. I just can't. It was us doing it. It was just us doing it. But I cannot believe that we didn't sit down with NATO.
Right.
Well, we had to. I mean, if we didn't, then
well, we don't have to.
Well, I mean, as far as I know, we don't have
the reason
to.
I'm
saying, like,
the reason I say I'm hoping that we actually did is because according to the reports out so far, this was entirely just on Donald Trump's order.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing about, talking with our NATO allies. It's Donald Trump said, blow this shit up, and we blew this shit up.
Yeah, so far they're all attributing it to Trump takes action and Trump launches and so on.
Yeah.
Here it is. Stop video, stop playing. On President Donald Trump's, this is from CNN. On President Donald Trump's orders, U.S. warships launched at least 50 Tomahawk cruise missiles. The strikes are the first direct military action the U.S. has taken against the leadership of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad in the country's 6-year civil war, and represent a substantial escalation, no kidding, of the U.S.'s military campaign in the region. Trump met with his national security team before dinner Thursday, where he made the decision to pull the trigger on the biggest military action of his presidency. He sat through dinner with the president, for the Chinese president, as action was underway. Holy shit.
Interesting.
U.S. Defense Secretary James Mattis, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, and Trump National Security Advisor General H.R. McMaster were with Trump at Mar-a-Lago at the time. Vice President Mike Pence remained in Washington, where he returned to White House after dinner. Trump's order to strike the Syrian government targets came a day after he said the chemical attacks crossed the lines, etc. Okay, so before dinner, he met with the national security team, gave the order, sat down to have dinner. This reminds me of like when Obama had Osama bin Laden killed and like spent a whole day at a dinner meeting, sort of at the press luncheon, just telling jokes and shit while SEAL Team 6 was going after Osama bin Laden.
That just sounds weird. Like that he was just munching on food while...
He's sitting there with the president of China while we're launching a strike against Syria. That is so bizarre. We're living in science fiction.
That just feels weird to hear it.
That's some Godfather type shit right there.
I know.
5 years ago, if I said to you, in 5 years, President Donald Trump will be having dinner with the president of China while we bomb Syria, I think I'm the first person to ever utter that sentence with that string of words.
Oh my God.
Like, I know what all those words mean individually, but are you sure you need to use them together?
Oh God. Okay. This is going to be the scariest spectator sport in the next 24 hours. How does the world react? What are the details behind the decision-making process?
I mean, we picked the time that we streamed. Just we were doing it right, I guess.
Yeah, well, I always do it right. Oh wait. So anyway, this is
bananas.
It's super bananas because I don't know what you do after this. I mean, okay, Trump made the decision apparently all on his own. The rest of the world is going to be reacting to this in some way, shape, or form. And now we have we have gone to war with Syria.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it. By doing this
is an act of war.
This is an act of war. Whatever Syria may have done to its own people or the rebels today was not an act of war against us. We have now initiated war with Syria. We are now at war with another country. Lickety split. And now we have to move on past that point. And it was unilaterally declared by Donald Trump.
I mean, over dinner with the Chinese president.
I know. This is, oh my God. My brain is going a mile a minute trying to think of the contingencies to this. And there's just...
There are so many things that could happen here. The absolute best case scenario, and there is no way in hell this is going to happen, Assad will go, oh shit, he's not playing around, and clean up his act.
No, see, this is the problem. We have just bought Syria. We have bought it. We broke it, and now we bought it. It's Iraq 3.
We didn't break it. It's been broken.
No, that's what I mean, though. But we've bought a broken piece of merchandise, just like Iraq. So the only next move here, short of Assad surrendering, which he will not do, is us pulling.
Yeah, that's the best case scenario.
Yeah, the best case scenario is Assad surrenders.
So why would we do this to ourselves again? We already...
I don't know. This is what's driving me nuts now, because this is basically starting Iraq all over again, when Iraq isn't even done yet, for God's sakes.
Yeah, and that went so well last time.
Oh my God.
So why would we do it again? I mean, there has to... the optimist in me, I guess, is like, there has to be more to this to make this not completely fucking retarded, right?
If you remove the Assad regime, that creates a power vacuum. And what kinds of moves in? You get the rebels. You've got ISIS. They could get another strong foothold while there's space to maneuver. It's nuts.
In a country that has chemical weapons in their arsenal. This isn't just like Iraq, because the power struggles there, at least, you have basically conventional warfare.
Yeah.
If the Assad regime falls and those are not secured,
right.
Yeah. It's going to be an ugly world in a year.
Okay, who else is on who else is Syria's ally aside from Russia? I'm
at a loss to think of anyone.
All right, here, let me...
But what I'm hoping happened, because right now it's just being reported as this is a unilateral Donald Trump kind of thing, and God, please don't let that be true.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he had talked to our NATO allies. I'm hoping that he at least, I mean, I know Nikki Haley was at the UN yesterday, but I didn't see any resolution or anything out of that. I might have missed it.
So there are a bunch of other small relationships Syria has with other countries, but its two primary ones are Russia and Iran.
Oh. Yeah. I forgot about the Iranians. Yeah.
Other countries that presently maintain good relations with Syria include China, North Korea, Angola, Cuba, Venezuela, Bolivia, Ecuador, Nicaragua, Brazil, Guyana, India, South Africa, Tanzania, Pakistan, Armenia, and on and on. There is a good chunk of the planet that is on good relations with Syria, also Russia, also Iran.
But it's going to be interesting how many of those are going to be willing to align themselves with them after the sarin gas attack.
There's too much. There's nothing to gain from aligning yourself with Syria. The only thing is, ideologically speaking, if Iran is friends with them, it doesn't matter how many bad guys there are because it's all for the will of Allah.
Well, yeah, there are so many things that could go wrong here.
Someone said that we might be overthinking it, and
I hope somebody is. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't think we are.
We could be here if we talk to Russia and Russia signed off on this, then this could just all blow over tomorrow. No big deal. We struck back at them for what they did, and it all blows over, and Syria just goes back to being a little shit show that we pay attention to every once in a while.
Yeah,
that is possible. It's possible.
Yes, but
with what we're seeing now, just on Donald Trump saying he said to do it, this could go sideways real bad, real fast.
Yeah. It's not so much so for the chat's sake, because a lot of people are saying, like, breathe, etc., just calm down. Look, I'm not freaking out just for the sake of freaking out. When things like this happen, my brain just starts thinking of the mechanisms involved and all the interplay between nation states and just how tenuous a situation we are in on any given day. Back when the Cuban Missile Crisis was happening, there was at least 3 or 4 occasions where a very small event occurred that almost tipped the balance towards nuclear war. One mistake, one plane flying over the wrong part of the world, etc. It's not to say that, doomsday is coming, but what just happened tonight in the last hour or so is more likely than not, given what we've seen. I mean, just think about recent history, making actions against sovereign nations in the Middle East. These things rarely end quickly. We're still in Iraq. Israel's still under threat. And we still have problems in Pakistan and Afghanistan. The past is prologue. This is the start of something much larger than just one strike. That's all I'm saying.
I have some background noise going on here. Keep talking. I'll be with you in a minute.
Hi, SDA.
Hi. I kind of don't know what to say because this is the first time that I've ever experienced something like this in real time.
Yeah, I've been through several now historical events live before.
Yeah, so my age is definitely.
Yeah. I remember watching Tiananmen Square happen live. I remember the wall coming down in Berlin live. 9/11, of course. God, how many other things? There's too many to count at this point. But yeah.
For the people who say we're overthinking this, I'm going based on the information we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't, like I said, it's entirely possible Russia signed off on this. It'll be no big deal in the morning.
Right.
If they did not, this is an incredibly big deal. Because one, Iran being part of Syria's clique, part of their allies, we just attacked their ally. If they are a military ally, then Iran could attack us. I don't think they will unless they talk to Russia. And as we said yesterday, talking about Russia, Russia's not the big problem. Russia's never been the big problem. China is. China and Russia are really cozy. And if I didn't realize China was cozy with Assad, makes sense, I guess. But the potential here,
here's a side thing that I just thought of. It's like, so Trump had to sit at the table with the Chinese president, probably not saying a thing about what he just done.
Mm-hmm.
Look him in the eye and have conversation with him while he's attacking someone his country's on good relations with. While he's supposed to be talking to him about how to handle North Korea. Oh, Jesus.
That's some Godfather shit. That's the Godfather too.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, man.
And It could also be that the world goes, oh my God, there's a crazy motherfucker in the White House. We might want to calm down a little bit. It's not that pussy anymore. But again, I don't see that as the most likely outcome. I am really, really hoping that this had NATO support, and I'm really, really hoping that we at least gave the Russians a heads up. So there were no horrible mistakes made here.
You know what I'm more upset by, really, is the fact that this is probably exactly what would have happened if Clinton was in office. I mean, I guess some things just kind of even out in the end. I don't know if this was the best way to handle the situation, but for sure, if Hillary was given an excuse, she would have done this very thing.
Now, what about what we just heard with the Pentagon having more control over military action?
Yeah, they've been quietly consolidating power over the military decisions being put into the hands of the Pentagon and less into the hands of civilian commanders or civilian officials, I should say.
I wonder how much that played a role in it. Because Trump said he would listen to his generals more, and
unless, okay, so here's the other thing. I mean, if they had some intelligence that said that Assad was getting ready to launch additional chemical attacks, and this was some kind of preemptive strike, not that that makes it better or anything. I'm just trying to think of like the scenarios that might have justified doing it right now at this second. Like, what was the immediacy other than just sort of out of emotion? If this was done out of emotion, oh, fuck.
Did they say, I don't remember if we saw it or not, whether or not this was the air base they think the sarin gas attack came from?
Let's see if anything's been updated. Okay, so the information right now, at least from CNN, stop video, don't play. Launched 50 to 60 Tomahawk cruise missiles at a Syrian government airbase where the warplanes that carried out the chemical attacks were based.
Okay. Man. Yeah, I'm really hoping that this had more support than just Donald Trump saying to do it. Because, yeah, it could go sideways bad.
Shall we talk about something else while we wait for more developments?
Yeah, because right now we're just speculating, and my mind is just going to worst case scenarios here.
I have another story about misdirection and possible conspiracy.
Sweet, what's up?
Arnold Schwarzenegger does not like the new Predator reboot, or so he says. In an interview with Yahoo Movies, Schwarzenegger had this to say about the new Predator film. They asked me and I read it and I didn't like it, whatever they offered. So I'm not going to do that, no, except if there's a chance they rewrite it or make it a more significant role for me. But the way it is now, no, I won't do that. Because there was a rumor that Schwarzenegger was going to come back playing Dutch in the sequel, which would have been amazing. But he's like denying it all over the place. The director's denying that Schwarzenegger wanted to have anything to do with the film, which probably means he's in it.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you couldn't say like, well, I'm not allowed to comment on that or something else. That kind of gives it away. So if they just say outright no, then there's really nowhere to go with it. But I can't see how a guy who's done 2 Terminator movies since coming back to film after Governor California, and what else? I mean, every other movie he's done where he's had a bit part in it or otherwise, he wouldn't do Predator.
Right, yeah. And it's not like he's immune to doing bad movies. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he'll be in there.
Yeah, he'll be in there. He'll show up as Dutch. It'll be like some big reveal, and he'll like kill a predator, and it'll be awesome.
There were several things I wanted to talk about, and this whole Assad thing just fucked it all up. None of them were news related. They were YouTube related, different things that I'd seen today that...
Oh, did you see the thing about Pacman? David Pacman?
No.
Okay, so David Pacman...
Is that the Pacman show guy?
Yeah, David Pacman has run basically a news interview show on YouTube for years and years now. And he's got a pretty good subscriber base, not gigantic, but pretty good. So what he showed today was that his show, even though it's gotten like 500,000 views in the last couple of days or whatever, has made all of like $1. $1. And so he got a letter from an advertiser that has been paying to have their ads put on his show. And apparently their ads are not appearing on his show at all. And so this advertiser contacted YouTube, and there's a video David Pakman put out. So if you look up his channel, just Pakman, he gives lots of details on this. But he showed some graphs about his channel's earnings, his overall channel, not just like one or two videos, because all the videos are still monetized, but his channel's not making any money. Is the weird thing. No ads are playing on any of his videos. So this advertiser contacted YouTube to try to figure out what was going on, and supposedly the rumor is, because of the way this is working with him and Secular Talk and a couple other channels, that are just nothing on their videos has shown that they've been demonetized, but no ads are playing on any video associated with their channel. So there's a theory that there's some kind of blacklist of channels that are verboten from overall making any money. And the one theory is like, oh, well, it's words in the titles of your videos like Islam or homosexuality or something that are making these things advertiser unfriendly. And then he goes down and lists a whole bunch of his video titles that are the most benign things you've ever heard, and says, yeah, no ads on those either. So that's not the case. It's very interesting. He just did a live stream with Sargon a little while ago. It might still be going on for all I know, where they were discussing it. So it's not necessarily the algorithm, because it looks like entire channels are being wiped of having any ads played on them at all.
I know me personally, my advertised views, there's two different metrics you can look at. You can look at how many views you get, and then you can look at how many monetized views you get. My monetized views for the last week are down 50%. And I don't think I'm not a big enough channel for YouTube to give a shit about. But I wonder how much of it is that and how much of it is targeting actual channels. Because right now, the way people have been talking, there's just not enough ads to go around. But if somebody wants to specifically advertise for a show, contact the show directly. Anybody who wants to advertise on my channel, contact me. We'll talk about it.
That's the thing. They weren't allowed to. Like the advertiser paid specifically to have their ad show up on David Pakman's channel, and they weren't appearing, even though they paid the money. That's my understanding, is that even though they're like, no, I want my ads to appear. It's not a matter of I'm offended by his content. I'm the advertiser. Yeah, exactly.
What I'm saying is, if you're an advertiser who wants your ads to show up specifically on somebody's channel, contact that channel and have them do ads for you in their video.
Oh, there's that. Yes, there's that.
Because the way that I understand YouTube advertising, you can't do that specifically. You can't specifically request that your ads show up on PewDiePie.
Not unless you go through like that sponsored content thing. So they'd have to sponsor your video, and then you could do that.
But if it's just the ad rolls that pop up, it's as far as I know, based on all the algorithm. I'm not saying that nobody's being shadow banned or shadow blocked or whatever. That's a possibility. But anytime something happens with YouTube like this, certain people, Sargon, go off on the most wild tangent about conspiracy theories on this kind of stuff, and we'll latch onto them. If you go back to the original demonetization scandal, back in September, October, whenever that was, it was all about how they were silencing the right, silencing, anti-SJWs. And yeah, they tended to get hit more, but they were also tending to talk about topics that were getting hit more. The Young Turks got hit. They are not right at all. Well, they're
practically circling back around to the right at this point, but yeah.
Well, yeah. But I'm very skeptical on these things these days, just because of how often I've heard somebody cry wolf. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of and I'm saying this after talking about Syria and kind of getting breathless about that. But I understand that I'm a little bit frazzled by it, and I don't claim that I know the truth about what's going on. But in these YouTube cases and everything else, between Undoomed or Bearing or Sargon or Kraut and T, some of these guys will post videos declaring the end of the world when there's a simpler explanation or something else is going on, like the H3H3 thing, where he's like, "Oh, this proves that, that these photos were doctored." Like, okay, hold on, back off, let's wait. I mean, I'm not going to start posting a video saying, "Oh, the world's going to come to an end because of what happened in Syria." I'm just sort of like, my brain. See, here's the thing. For the sake of anybody who gives a shit, one of the things that I loved about playing Vampire the Masquerade in a LARP is that the politics of the setting gave a whole bunch of fun for my mind to explore, like contingencies and the moving parts of politics and how to, this, that, and the other thing. My mind just works that way when it comes to things like this. When something happens in the world, part of my mind goes, okay, trying to take away some of the usual splendor of everything. What would happen? What could happen? I read Tom Clancy novels when I was a kid. I got really into this sort of technopolitics stuff. So that's a little bit where my enthusiasm on this subject comes from. I'm not like giddy about it because I'm glad it happened, but I also can't turn off my sort of imagination when it comes to trying to game out what's going to happen next, kind of deal. That's all.
Do you think Trump had heard Clinton's statements about bombing Assad before he made that decision?
Well, I mean, he talked about it during the campaign at one of the debates. He talked about what a bad idea it would be to, sort of create a no-fly zone over Syria and all this other stuff. So he had to have had some notion about what Clinton's intentions or desires were before this, and certainly, I don't think.
Was she talking about actually bombing them during that? I remember her talking about the no-fly zone, but not actually bombing anyone.
Let me see if I can find the thing again.
Because that just came up today, as far as the first I've ever heard her say we should actually bomb them was today.
Yeah, well, she might have been actually bombing them. I don't know what her record is on that. I'll look up and see if she's mentioned that possibility before. But yeah, she was being interviewed today about it. But yeah, she was calling on the U.S. to bomb U.S. airfields today. So that was today. Has she called for? Has she intimated to strikes before? Let's see. I'll look and see if I can find. But everything right now is talking about like right now. So.
NBC is reporting that Trump is supposed to be making remarks shortly.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine so. From the White House or from Mar-a-Lago? I wonder.
Mar-a-Lago.
Let's see. Back in February. No, it's something else.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Like I said, I never heard her say that on the campaign trail because she was already being accused of, setting off a war.
Yeah.
And I just can't see her having it. And I'm not saying she didn't. It's just not something I ever saw.
Well, also, politically speaking, if you actually said this is a specific aggressive action I would take on a sovereign nation while you're running for president, that would be a bit explicit and a bit of a declaration. Yeah. a declaration before the fact. So like if you say on the campaign trail, we should bomb Syria. Okay, so as soon as you get into office, we can consider ourselves at war with you.
I just wish he would hurry up and speak because I'm really curious to know how much went on behind the scenes because everything I'm reading is just about us and the National Security Council.
Is SDA still here or did she go bye-bye?
She's muted right now that I can see.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, as soon as that...
who have just tuned in and missed the news, we just bombed Syria. Just took out one of their airfields, launching a reported 50 Tomahawk missiles at them in retaliation for the sarin gas attack on their own people on Tuesday. Trump is expected to make remarks soon.
Earlier on Thursday, this is from the BBC, earlier on Thursday, U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson said Syrian leader Bashar al-Assad should have no role in a future Syria.
Well, we've been saying that since...
since
it's first started.
This kind of changes the calculus of it all, though.
We just have a president who has balls now. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing remains to be seen.
And so my fear, and I'm not saying this is going to happen. I don't know. This is all just sort of like, but I mean, like I say, past is prologue. If this turns into another Iraq, we own it.
Yeah, I don't think it'll go that far. I don't think we're going to put boots on the ground over there.
I hope not. But then I don't know what the next step is after we do this, though, really.
Take out the rest of their airfields, which is what Hillary suggested today, is to just take them all out.
Better Red says, "Is this a political bombing? That's terrorism." Well,
I don't think this would count as a political bombing. This is a retaliatory bombing.
Yeah, and it was on a military target, so it wasn't targeting civilian populations for the sake of terror. But who knows what the collateral damage is? Who knows?
It absolutely is an act of war, though.
Yes, that is. And I don't see how, even if you say like, well, Russia was okay with it and tomorrow this won't be a big deal. I don't see how we get past that. I mean, this has to be a big deal. If just bombing another nation in the absence of a threat turns into not a big deal, then we're in worse trouble than I think we are. You know what I mean?
But it's done around the world all the time. It doesn't get headlines as much because you don't see invasions and stuff. I mean,
like when?
France does it. If you go back to the Iraq War, I would give you the specifics. Remember, please forgive me for my memory.
It's fine.
But France is engaged, or was engaged at the time, somewhere else under very similar circumstances. I want to say it was somewhere in maybe East Africa, West Africa. I don't recall.
Okay.
But it's not unusual for superpowers or even France to intervene a little bit, but
you would know this. Like I said, this isn't like some kind of sending advisors or doing some other kind of passive thing that's sort of nebulously interfering in another nation's issues. This is blowing shit up with missiles from battleships off the coast.
If there's one thing Syria was missing, it was piles of rubble.
Yeah, we
piles of rubble.
Yeah, we haven't harmed the beauty of the landscape, I don't think.
Jesus. Well, that's another thing, because with Clinton's statement, take out all their air bases, we specifically supposedly targeted the one at the.
Trump's talking apparently.
Oh.
Or at least someone in the chat said Trump's talking. Let's see if I get a feed on this. No, I don't want to look at that. I want to look at. Oh, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I'm having trouble pulling anything up.
I'll go to whitehouse.gov. Not com. You go to whitehouse.com. That's a porn site or something else.
That was one of the greatest coups in internet history.
No kidding. That was amazing. Okay, I'll go to the White House's YouTube channel. What the fuck? Is he actually speaking, or am I missing something? It's got to be on YouTube. You'd think it'd be like the headline. Maybe not. Okay, White House, where are you? For God's sakes, there it is. The White House. President's joint address to Congress? No. Well, if he was broadcasting from the White House, it'd be the first thing on their YouTube channel. It's not there, so unless somebody knows something else.
Oh.
Fox just said Trump did not call Putin. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, this was a vital national security interest. Oh, my God.
Oh, no. Fuck.
Calls on civilized nations to join the U.S. in seeking to end the slaughter and bloodshed in Syria.
Where's this at? Where are you seeing
this? This is Fox News.
Fox? Okay.
It's on their app, which tells me he didn't talk to anybody. Tomorrow morning's headlines are going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's Trump. Did anybody check Twitter? Oh my God. I don't mean to make light of this, because this could really be a horrible situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't know what else to make of this shit.
He should be addressing the nation at some point here in the next little bit. I mean, you don't do something like this and not say, hey, America, guess what? Fuck. Yeah, I'm not, honestly, everybody in the chat, I'm not trying to be alarmist, but at the same time, this is about as drastic an event as we've had in quite a while. And if Trump did this unilaterally, like without anybody's input. Okay.
And let's not forget, this goes against everything he said campaigning.
Exactly.
And this actually goes back to things he said back in 2013. He said we should just stay the hell out of Syria. And this is the exact opposite of staying the hell out of Syria. We just blew their shit up, which on a personal level, I have no problem with taking out a base where they're launching sarin gas. But we might want to get our allies involved in that. Because you don't want to put them in the position of having to, either defend a direct act of war or the guy who's firing off sarin gas.
Right. I mean, if I had concerns about Trump's sort of, let's say international skill at foreign relations, when he was like mentioning Japan in a list of our adversaries early on in his presidency, this is a million times worse than that. If he did this all by himself. I mean, we've got so far we have quoted John McCain and Lindsey Graham are okay with it.
Well, I'm sure they are.
I'm sure they are. And again, I mean, if the action in and of itself isn't something that I personally necessarily would have disagreed with, except it's not the ends in this case, it's the means.
Yeah, I have no problem with taking it out. It's making sure we have our ducks in a row doing it. This is not the U.S. invasion of Grenada. Syria has Russian troops actually working with them. They're actually backing the Assad regime.
Yeah. Okay. What else?
This isn't even North and South Vietnam. This is direct. They're oh man. And again, I hope I'm overblowing this. I really do.
Yeah.
I hope that this is. I hope that our worst case scenarios are just us going ballistic, and tomorrow morning it's like the world is okay with bombing Syria. That would make me happier than anything.
Well, see, like I said, gaming this stuff out for me was on one hand a form of entertainment, and also just my brain sort of out loud trying to assimilate this information as it comes in into something understandable. I mean, I think for like a lot of people in my generation, to speak for my entire generation because I am that ambassador, my view on reality was kind of cracked in half after 9/11 about our place in the world and how small a world it's become and everything else. And watching events unfold since 9/11 and the Afghanistan and Iraq and just everything else in between. I mean, I was aware of foreign events and international stuff prior to 9/11, but it never really felt as sort of visceral until after then. And so when something like this happens, and I look back, like I was talking before, on all the sort of like events of world change I've witnessed in my lifetime alone, depending on which way the wind blows on this, it could be a footnote or it could be a whole chapter. And that's what I'm wondering right now.
And yeah, there is part of that. People may get offended at this, but part of this is fun, or at least interesting, to think of, okay, what happens now? Where could this go? Now, what about U.S. politics? With Clinton having come out earlier in the day, actually calling for this to happen.
That was odd coincidence, wasn't it?
Don't you think? That's why I was wondering whether or not Donald Trump had heard those statements.
Or if Hillary somehow got wind of it.
Oh yeah, that could be true. That could be it too.
I mean, I mean, it's not like Hillary isn't still plugged in several places around the power centers of Washington. So if there had been any rumblings of this was coming up or this was a possibility, if she can get her foot in the door on being sort of like prescient on this, or if she can show like, you see,
I'm just wondering how, because both sides were claiming the other was going to cause World War III.
Yeah.
And with Clinton's remarks, it kind of silences anybody that was supporting her, because she was advocating the exact same thing that he actually did. So I'm wondering how it's going to break down on the left-right front in American politics.
I don't know. I mean, as much as we're speculating here, I don't have a clue as to what's going to happen next, because I don't have all the information. B, a lot of things that I thought would have happened with certain events in the past didn't happen or went a different direction. So yeah, this is all speculation. We're just sitting here kind of, I mean, it's catharsis really, because regardless of what does happen, what is actually going on and everything else, the implications of this are frightening and exhilarating at the same time. And the only way that I sort of like have a pressure release, since I'm not like a professional journalist or something, is just sort of like take in the information as it comes and think, okay, it's like watching a TV show or something at this stage of the game. It's like what's going to happen next in the plot. That's about as easy an analogy as I have to sort of distance myself from the reality a little bit.
The BBC has some comments from political figures.
Okay.
Senator Rand Paul said, while we condemn the atrocities in Syria, the United States was not attacked. The president needs congressional authorization for military action as required by the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Senator Marco Rubio, quote, be sure of this, the wicked will not go unpunished, unquote, Proverbs 11:21. Hashtag Syria chemical attack.
Marco Rubio, the Irish Cuban. Thanks to FDA.
Yes.
Oh, Rubio.
Seth Moulton. I'm not sure if who he is. So at POTUS cares enough about the Syrian people to launch 50 Tomahawks, but not enough to let the victims of Assad find refuge and freedom here. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, that's the same thing.
Good job in politicizing that one so quick. God.
Well played. Well played.
Yeah, God. Woo, smooth operator.
Man. The airbase was near Homs, is what they're reporting.
Mara asks, do you think... Sorry, go ahead.
They targeted the runway, aircraft, and fuel storage.
Mara asks, do you think Trump's going to get impeached if things are as they appear to be? The Democrats are... Well, so first and foremost, I think the Democrats will latch onto this, obviously. This is a prediction. I think the Democrats will take, the other side of the option, the whole thing, and say, and condemn this, condemn the action, condemn not going to... And, in some instances, for a lot of cases, I can't necessarily disagree with them. My main question right now is, why was the strike necessary now and so immediately? What was if there was no threat to either our interests or innocent lives? Like if they had, like I said, if they had intelligence that said in the next 24 hours they're going to launch additional chemical strikes on civilian targets, okay, and they can confirm that intelligence and that was actually happening, it still wouldn't make me feel good about a president who is still unilaterally launching military strikes without any checks and balances in any way, shape, or form. But at least it would seem like, okay, there was an impending event that made this necessary now in the president's opinion. Doesn't necessarily excuse it, but at least it would be, within the realm of understanding. If there's not some initiating or looming threat, if it was just done out of pressure or emotion or whatever, regardless of like I say, the ends, it's still, I'm not happy with that at all. And I wouldn't disagree with the Democrats in saying that it was completely out of bounds. Now, whether or not he gets impeached over it, I doubt it. I'd be surprised unless we find out something. I don't know. Like I said, now we're into territory where it's like completely nebulous. Who knows?
I'm reading the response on Twitter. NBC News has Donald Trump's statement up on there, or at least 20 seconds of it or so.
Yeah.
Saw somebody repeat he's saying all this, but bans refugees from entering the country.
Sure.
Now you want allies. You've insulted everyone except Putin. Embarrassed by POTUS response. Is this how far Trump will go to divert Russia investigation? Are you fucking serious?
Oh shit.
That person's an idiot.
See, this is the same thing they pulled on Clinton, the Republicans did when the Monica Lewinsky thing was going on, that he bombed. Yes. He was going after Osama bin Laden to distract from Lewinsky.
The one part I will give them on Clinton, and I don't think he did it. He made a horrible mistake bombing an aspirin factory.
Yes.
And it was on bad intelligence. And I absolutely believe he did that strike in order to change the headlines. But I don't think he knew it was an aspirin factory. I think he was just
Sure.
looking for something to change the headlines.
Something legit to change the headlines.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. Okay, why don't you start with your buddy Putin? That's a good point. Good point.
Sorry, what was that again?
It says in the statement, Trump called on the civilized nations of the world to join in the fight against Assad.
Yes. Yeah.
And okay, why don't you start with your buddy Putin? Oh yeah, I probably should have read his statement again, huh?
Yeah.
It was reported that he said that this was a vital national security interest and called on the civilized nations of the world to basically get rid of Assad. No, war's not the answer. Let Trump figure it out. Okay. Judging by this, it looks like, yeah, at least the civilian world is breaking down along party lines, which is to be expected.
Sure.
Man.
Let's see. Now he's still visiting China's president, I think, both today and tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So
that'll be an interesting conversation.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a joint state, or at least one of those things where you have two podiums, each president, each podium, questions from the press, and they both make a statement about what happened. I mean, the president of China is here when this happens. That's such a weird situation to be in, both for us and for them.
Yeah.
I mean, and one of the topics on the table at the time was what to do about North Korea. And so, yeah, I don't know. This is foreign territory in so many ways of the phrase.
Well, it's the next 24 hours is going to be interesting.
Foggy brings up an interesting question. Maybe China will use this as leverage against North Korea. Well, China wouldn't use it against leverage against North Korea. They might use it as leverage to try to keep Trump at bay, by saying like, okay, we'll not argue with you on this as long as you leave North Korea alone. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, Trump might have put himself in a position where he's got no leverage with China. Because if he doesn't want any interference or any bad-mouthing from one of the largest countries on the planet, maybe the exchange for that is North Korea is no longer a subject to discuss. That'd be a bad place to be in.
Yeah, it would be. North Korea a very barbaric attack. Full statement from Trump. Going to read a statement here. On Tuesday, Syria launched a horrific chemical attack on innocent civilians. Using a deadly nerve agent, Assad choked out the lives of hopeless men, women, and children. It was a slow and brutal death for so many. Even beautiful babies were cruelly murdered in this very barbaric attack. No child of God should ever suffer such horror. Tonight, I ordered a targeted military strike on the airfield in Syria from where the chemical attack was launched. It was in the vital national security interest of the U.S. to prevent and deter the use of deadly chemical weapons. There can be no dispute that Syria used banned chemical weapons, violated its obligations under the Chemical Weapon Convention, and ignored the urging of the UN Security Council. Years of previous attempts at changing Assad's behavior have all failed and failed very dramatically. It looks like there was something else supposed to be there, so I don't know if it was or not. Continues on. As a result, the refugee crisis continues and the region continues to destabilize, threatening the U.S. and its allies. Tonight, I call on all civilized nations in seeking to end the slaughter and bloodshed in Syria and also to end terrorism of all kinds and all types. We ask for God's wisdom as we face the challenge of our very troubled world. We pray for the lives of the wounded and the souls of those who have passed. And we hope that as long as Americans stand for justice, peace, and harmony will prevail. Good night, and God bless America and the entire world.
Okay, so that's the first time I've heard the whole statement, or at least the majority of it. My first reaction is that it started out with a plea to emotion.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was not, and nowhere in there did he articulate what specific threat to American interests was at stake, or if there was some kind of imminent action that this was supposed to prevent. Now, maybe that'll come out later, but when you make an announcement like this, usually you're there to justify what you just did. And yes, the deaths of innocent people, babies, women, children, etc., it's awful. But in the pragmatic world of politics, that's not why you just launch missiles at a sovereign nation.
The BBC is reporting a foreign policy journalist named Paul McCleary posted this to Twitter. Defense official, there were Russians stationed at the base the U.S. struck in Syria tonight, but U.S. informed them beforehand.
Okay. Does that mean they made it out?
I hope so. I hope we gave them more than like 2 seconds warning. Okay,
so we gave Russia a heads up, but we didn't get anybody's. Well, okay. Oh, well, thank goodness for that, sort of. But none of the previous concerns go away.
Well, this goes back to what I was talking about. This is not just a matter of Russia being a supporter of Syria. Right. They have troops in battle with them.
Yes.
Yeah, this isn't like us with supporting Israel. Yeah, I mean, there's actual Russian troops in Syria.
Yeah, Russia is supporting them both in material and in personnel in their actions and such. So, but here's the thing too. Give me a second. Okay, so we are getting ready to launch missiles. We give Russia a heads up, presuming that the information that is on there is true. Russia, I hope, gets their people out of there. Did Russia then relay that information to Syria?
Well, what are they going to do? The Syrians see the Russians all running for their planes to take off.
Well, I know, but I mean, does that? Yeah, I'm
attention, guys.
I'm overthinking this.
No, I understand what you're saying, but obviously, I mean, it's not like
no. I mean,
gonna...
no. What I guess where I was going with it was, if the Russians ran away, does that damage the relationship between Syria and Russia in the sense that they weren't there to back up their ally? I mean, obviously, if they had an incoming death is about to fall upon our heads, they couldn't really do anything about it. All the same, if Russia withheld the information and or withdrew all their personnel and assets as they could before it happened, does that mean that the treaty between Russia and Syria, whatever it is, or the agreements or otherwise, are now under threat?
Well, again, I go back to the statement from the Kremlin earlier today.
That's true.
The support is not unconditional. So it's starting to look very much like, Trump did notify Russia. Russia made that statement basically because they were going to not retaliate. And they're not going to stand up for Syria, gassing the babies. I love how he threw in the babies. He did that with the statement yesterday.
Yeah.
The babies. I don't mean to laugh at that because, yes, children died over there, but the babies. The children of God. And for the record, the ones who aren't children of God, I hope they don't get gassed either.
Let's see. Shade Shadow says, Scribe Light, all Russia has to do is tell Syria it was a complete surprise. They were only informed in the last second. Retaliation has been enacted. Russia is clear. Yeah, no, I like I said, this is just me. My brain is speculating out loud. Don't take anything I say as like I'm taking it for gospel truth or something. I'm just
let us repeat this here. This is much of what we're talking about is speculation. We do this from time to time when we're talking about a topic that is breaking. It's just our minds at work. You're actually getting to see how we think out loud here, guys.
Yeah. When it comes down to actually what's happening, I'll be reading an article and citing from where I'm getting the information. Otherwise, if I'm just sort of babbling to myself, just assume it's all speculation and smoke. Well, aside from that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
Yeah, no shit.
Is SDA still here? Is she still?
She's been gone for a while. I don't know where she went.
I've been watching the chat. I've got the stream window in Chrome, and I'm watching the chat in Firefox because the two work faster on either one. So that's why I'm looking at. Gotcha. She just tweeted me. She'll be back in a minute.
Okay. For the record, guys, in chat, I can't view chat. I have a shitty computer, and it's giving me problems right now. So.
Yeah, and sorry, guys. I've been looking so much at the articles that I haven't been paying attention to chat as much as I should be. So I'll do that now exclusively. Sorry about that.
Oh no, you're fine. Look at articles too.
Somebody should be. Better Read, our either current or former JAG lawyer, says it was not a national security interest, not even close. Square Donut, Scribe Light, I want to know if Russia is cleared on this. Seemingly, we gave them a heads up. Whether or not they cleared it, don't know, or clear on it.
Or do you mean, if I read that, or read, if I interpreted that the way you read it, I would think that he was asking whether or not they were cleared in the use of the sarin gas. Sarin gas. Jesus.
I want to know if Russia is cleared on this. Oh, cleared on the involvement? Oh, I don't know. I don't know if they're involved in it at all.
Well, we can answer it both. It looks like they were given a heads up about the incoming bombs. Mm-hmm. And if they had Russian personnel stationed at that base, and there's no reason necessarily to believe that they knew it was going to happen, that the sarin gas was going to happen, but it's possible they knew, but nobody's accused them yet.
Mara, did you mean to time that person out, or was it another accident? And that guy has given you $5 Canadian. He says, one step closer to a new PC, monkey.
Oh, I appreciate that. You know what's sad? We're going to go off topic here for just a second. I'm building my PC myself and ordered all the parts through Amazon. I have all of the internal parts arriving tomorrow. The case doesn't arrive until Monday, and the operating system I won't have until Wednesday. So I'll have all the fun parts tomorrow, but I won't be able to put it all together and use it until middle of next week.
Let's see. Hasna Raman says he did it. Question mark, exclamation point, question mark. If we're talking about Trump launching the missiles, yes, he did indeed do it. Someone else is saying Assad did not gas anyone, alluding to that it was some kind of false flag or some other misunderstanding.
Well, to talk about that, we mentioned this earlier, but for those of you who joined us late, Assad did, well, I don't know if Assad himself did it. Syria claimed that they were not the ones who used the gas. They said they bombed a target. There was terrorist gas in there, headed for Iraq, by the way, was the claim. Mm-hmm. And the bomb caused the release of the gas.
Let's see. I guess I missed a whole bunch of chatting. There's Blood Wings implying that there was a lot of previous anti-Semitic, they did this for Israel type stuff in the chat.
They did this for Israel, really?
Yeah, I'm sure they did this. I'm sure Israel is really benefiting from this right now.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Them damn Jews just do everything.
Someone so MRA in the chat, Assad gave up all the chemical weapons during Obama. Sure he did. I don't know what you're talking about.
If you remember back when Obama drew his line in the sand.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see.
There was a lot of conspiracy theories saying that it was the terrorists who had used the sarin, the whatever. I don't know. It was definitely sarin back then, but the chemical weapons, and not Assad. And we saw a lot of that with this most recent attack already. And I have a feeling we're going to see that claimed a lot more.
Let's see. Mara says, Scribe, there's been a bunch of faggot and goat fucker being thrown around, so they got bopped. Okay. Math Queen says, Scribe Light, what about North Korea? Well, that's an interesting question because Trump is still, as far as I understand, visiting with the president of China down in Florida. I believe it was supposed to be today and tomorrow that they are having meetings and such. And Trump initiated this attack just before sitting down to dinner with the president of China, presumably him having no idea what Trump had just done. And given that North Korea, which is sort of like Syria to Russia's, North Korea is sort of like China's Syria in a way.
Yes.
How that is going to hash out now after this. I don't know if Trump has spent his leverage by doing this and then having to talk to China afterwards, or if this is, I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen with that, but it's going to be interesting because I bet there will be some kind of joint statement tomorrow when we have a little press conference with two podiums and two presidents, and then the press gets into it. That'll be interesting. Let's see.
I'm waiting for the rest of the world to wake up because, Europe's asleep right now.
Wait, what did that person just say? Somebody said something.
Somebody said something.
Peter Built Nation 379. Scribe Light.
Oh, Peter.
There be a cunt that just signed his own death warrant after killing 2 orcas in St. Vincent. What? I'm going to look that up real quick. I don't even know. Killed some whales.
Killing 2 orcas. Are you actually talking about whales? Or are you talking about fat chicks?
Yeah. Oh no, there's been a slaughter of actual orcas in St. Vincent.
Oh
wow. Let's see. Let me see.
It's sad that we live in a day that I have to ask if you're talking about actual whales or fat people.
Let's see. According to the media reports, the cruise operator. Hold on. Let's see. I'm trying to find out what it is. Okay. Last week, off the coast of St. Vincent and the Grenadines made plain. They're according to local media reports, tourists on a whale watching expedition were following a pod of 4 orcas when fishermen in speedboats chased down the animals and harpooned 2 of them right in front of the excursion group of some 40 tourists. Yeah. Okay, that happened yesterday. That's pretty awful.
Well, I came back at an interesting time.
Well, at least they didn't attack any penguins. All right, that was crass, but anyway. Anyway, so I'm watching the chat if everybody else wants to. Whale lives matter. Yes, Jeremy. Thank you. What else is going on? Better dead. I missed.
So what happened? Did Russia know, or?
So
from reports, yes.
From reports, they were given a heads up. How long a lead time of a heads up? Don't know, but it wasn't. But supposedly, as far as we know right now, that was the extent of our contact to Russia about it. Just this is coming. You might want to get your people out of there, because apparently Russian personnel were at the air base where this occurred.
Right.
Skaggle says, Scribe, do you have any fun topics? Well, I can try to find something to take our minds off this until something else happens. Because I could come up with some things to talk about.
That's fine. God, I really wish there was something I wanted to talk about on YouTube. I'm going to have to see if my phone app will work for me here. I read something saw something really stupid earlier, and I don't remember what it was.
Well, let's see.
I saw a lot of stupid shit today.
The last Star Wars film of the current trilogy starts filming in July. That's interesting. Yay. I'm still curious to see what.
When does episode 8 come out? This
December. Yeah, this December. So there's a lot of mystery regarding that movie about Benicio del Toro and who he's playing.
Okay.
In a very early sort of apparent slip up, he was apparently listed as Vikram Fett, which would indicate that he's like a descendant or relation to Boba Fett. Are you okay,
Vikram?
SDA? Vikram.
Yeah, sorry. I just had like a sneezing fit. I'm good.
Oh, I thought you were just overdoing it on the cocaine. Okay.
No.
The other thing is that the other rumor that people are having is that he is the elder version of Ezra Bridger from the Rebels cartoons, which would be really interesting if that were true, because that would be like the first ever tie-in of a non-movie property directly into movie plot line. I mean, we've seen things like that before, like George Lucas liked the look of Ayla Secura, a Twi'lek Jedi in a comic book, before he introduced her as a character into the movies. But if that was Ezra Bridger, that'd be interesting.
I remembered the video I wanted to talk about.
Oh, okay.
It's a fusion video. BuzzFeed's retarded little brother. Muslim woman raps about choosing to cover up.
Oh, no. Are you going to sing for us? Are you going to rap for us?
No, I'm not going to rap for you. If you want to watch it, check out Fusion. The My Job, My Choice. It's this woman. There's several women in the video, but she does the majority of it from what I can tell. And yeah, they rap about how great it is to wear their little head wrapping. And she goes on to say that
I rap about head wrapping.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
The response she's got to it has been mostly positive, except from white men, because white men are bastards. Yes, white men are horrible.
How has she identified that they're white men who are responding badly?
I don't know. She never says. I'm supposing she's using her hijab Jedi powers.
Oh.
I just want to watch a really stupid video. It's not long enough for me to actually make a response to.
Yeah.
But you should definitely check it out if you want a good laugh. It is moronic.
Let's see. What else?
What other happy stuff do we have going on in the world?
let's see. Happy non-warlike stuff. Let me.
Non-warlike stuff.
Well, let's see non-warlike stuff. What do we got going on? I'm looking at.
You know what? This is actually probably my fault because when we started this stream, I hadn't seen the news really at all today.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, Jesus Christ, what the hell are we going to talk about? And I honestly said, I wish I had something to talk about. So I caused Trump to bomb Syria.
Yeah. You better tweet Trump now and say, thank you for giving me something to talk about.
At Real Donald Trump.
Yeah, at Real Trump. Thank you for bombing Syria. I have something to discuss. What else? Oh, so there's going to be a new Dune movie, by the way, if you didn't already think.
What's a Dune movie?
Dune. What do you know what Dune is?
Like a sand dune?
Oh,
dude, she's 19. She's 19.
I broke Scribe. Sorry, guys.
Okay. Do you know the book series Dune?
Like a sand dune?
She doesn't know Dune at all. Dude.
Okay. Anyway,
How do you spell it?
Doon.
Okay.
Stop fucking with her.
Okay. Well, have you seen pictures of her? It's real difficult. Okay.
Oh.
Anyway, so Dune was a series of books that are sort of like the sci-fi.
Is he lying to me about how to spell it?
No, yes, I am. Yeah, Dune. D-U-N-E. D-U-N-E, like a sand dune.
Because there's a book series spelt
real
like
quick.
that.
You're very right.
Real
Yes.
quick, if anybody wants to see it, the BBC has just updated their story. The Pentagon has actually released some of the images of the cruise missiles being launched. As a Navy brat, I always think it's cool to watch this.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some really cool pictures. Nighttime firing.
Okay. Anyway,
the BBC?
Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. So
Yeah.
I'll make this quick because there's other stuff going on, obviously. But okay, so yes, you know the book series called Dune, or the series of books about Dune, yes? Or have heard about it?
Me?
Yes, you.
No, clearly I haven't.
You just said the book series. You must have anyway. Okay.
No, because when you said D-O-O-N, I Googled it and that popped up as a book series.
See, you fucking with her has confused her further.
So yeah,
I'm gonna miss you when you're
I'll
gone.
believe you.
okay. So not that book series, but D-U-N-E. So anyway,
Yeah, I have it up.
if there is a sci-fi equivalent to the Lord of the Rings and the Tolkien sort of mythos, Dune is the sci-fi equivalent of that to an extent.
Okay.
It is a grand, giant, galactic space opera regarding a whole bunch of stuff like royal houses and intrigue and assassinations and aliens and everything else. It all centers on, or at least the first book centers on this planet called. Its nickname is Dune because it's one big sand planet like Tatooine, but its real name is Arrakis. And the special thing about Arrakis is it's the only planet in the universe that has the spice, and the spice is sort of this magical substance that makes people live longer and allows intergalactic travel to occur. It's this sort of it's magical. It's magical stuff that does magical things, and this is the only place it happens at. So control of that planet becomes like the center of this galactic politic between all these royal houses and things. That's the exceedingly simplified version. Anyway, several thoughts about trying to turn this into a movie occurred over the many, many decades since the books were written, but it was finally turned into a movie back in the 80s, which was starring Kyle MacLachlan, and it was directed by David Lynch, who did Twin Peaks and other such things. And it was kind of a grand disaster in the sense that it was this epic, over-budget, overpriced special effects extravaganza, but it was kind of critically panned and didn't do well at the box office. It has since gained a big cult following, and there's been several different recuts that have made it make more sense. A sort of remake was done in the early 2000s by the Sci-Fi Channel, who did a sort of TV miniseries that turned into a big epic film overall, which actually did a lot better of sticking to the book, and actually I think is a better retelling of the story. But now they're actually going to remake it, and the person writing it is the person who wrote Forrest Gump.
Am I
Oh, dear
happy
Lord.
about that or upset?
Well, see, Forrest Gump was a good movie. It was well written. It was well put together. I don't necessarily have any problem with that. But yeah, so Variety reports that Eric Roth, who won an Oscar for his adapted screenplay of Forrest Gump, has been hired to adapt the Frank Herbert novel Dune for director Denis Villeneuve. And if you don't know who director Denis Villeneuve is, he's the guy who is putting out in the next few months the Blade Runner sequel.
Oh, what the fuck?
So, well, you don't know about the Blade Runner sequel?
No, I'm reading another article here.
Okay.
They actually named the ships that the missiles were fired from.
Okay.
Why would they do that? Is that stupid? That's stupid, right?
That is stupid. That is very stupid.
That's telling everybody because intelligence agencies are going to know which ships have which capabilities based on the names, etc. So you've just given away our part of our strategic placement of warships in the Mediterranean.
You've also just painted targets on them.
Yeah, that too. And
so why would they do that? That's like some
Obama administration
level stupid.
Where's this info coming from?
A Fox News article.
Okay.
Now this is another thing that scares me about this stuff. Fox News article. Who's talking here? Somebody named Davis. He's a Pentagon spokesman. Confirmed that there are Russians at the base, but he said that they had been warned multiple times to leave. He did not know whether Russian aircraft were at the base when the missile hit.
Wait, what?
Says,
he did not.
We have no idea. We don't know whether or not there were Russian aircraft still at the base when the missiles hit. The U.S. also notified its partner countries in the region prior to launching the strike.
Partner countries in the region. So what partner countries do we have in the Middle East around Syria?
We told Israel to cover their ass.
Exactly.
Well, did we tell them to go inside or what?
Wow.
So that means we probably told Israel and Jordan and Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And Turkey, probably. Maybe Egypt. I don't know. Definitely Saudi Arabia. We wouldn't have done this without at least giving a heads up to the Saudis. For sure.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No. I was talking about
Navy brat.
I was talking about a fictional book that's based around Iraq and where the spice is actually oil and all the stuff in there is all based on Middle Eastern culture and everything else.
Yeah.
And return to the real Middle East.
I'm a Navy brat. I remember very, very vividly how nervous Mom would get when Dad was over there in the Middle East. He was over there during Iran when they were mining the Gulf. I got to see one of those mines because when the ships come home, they often stop. Like in this case, we lived in Virginia Beach. They stopped in North Carolina to drop off all the Marines, and what they would do is they'd bust the kids down, and we would get to ride back the rest of the ride on the ship. And when we came back, they actually had one of the mines that they pulled out of the Gulf on the ship on the quarterdeck. That's the deck right below the flight deck for you civilians out there. And it actually looked like a bumbleball, if you know what one of those is.
Oh yeah.
And it always amazed me that they use ships to sweep for mines. My dad was on a minesweeper back in Vietnam. I'm like, why would you sweep for mines with a ship if the mines are supposed to blow up ships? But then I saw it and I understood because I was expecting like video game mines, and they just don't look like that at all. But I remember very vividly, having conversations with Mom about, well, why don't we know where Dad's at? And it's like, well, they don't list what the ships are doing specifically to keep personnel safe. That is so odd to me, and maybe it's a change because I've been away from the military for a long time, and to be honest, I didn't pay attention during all of the cruise missile strikes on Iraq, whether or not they were announcing what ships those were coming from. But that, as a Navy brat from the 80s and very early 90s, that's fucked up to me.
I've got a little bit extra stuff from NBC that's been posted.
Sure, bring it
I
up.
assume in the next couple minutes. Syrian television characterized the missile strike as "quote unquote" American aggression Friday morning, but Arar al-Sham, the largest Syrian armed rebel group, told NBC News it quote welcomes any U.S. intervention through surgical strikes that would deter the Assad regime capabilities to kill civilians and shorten the suffering of our people, unquote. Tillerson and Nikki Haley, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, have bluntly blamed Syria for the chemical weapons attack whose victims included at least 25 children. Tillerson told reporters on Thursday that, quote, there is no doubt in our minds, unquote, that the Syrian regime was responsible for the attack. And in a combative speech at the UN Security Council on Wednesday, Haley warned, when the United Nations consistently fails in its duty to act collectively, there are times in the life of states that we are compelled to take our own action. So this was a backhand at the, oh, fuck's sakes. I know the United Nations isn't exactly the most efficient organization on the planet, but if you stick your middle finger up at them and then they go bomb at a sovereign country, that's not good diplomacy there.
Yeah.
Ay, caramba.
Well,
Are you okay?
Do you need to blow your nose?
Fever?
what?
You need to blow your nose.
Crying?
No.
You sound like you're stuffed up.
You're all stuffed up.
I mean, I sneezed like a lot.
Why?
Because it was dusty.
Are you allergic to war?
Yeah, actually.
Okay. Did you still want to get Princess Buttercup on the stream?
Yeah, if somebody can send her the link.
Sure. I'll do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, they kind of got lost in the excitement, let's say.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Like I said, I had no real plans coming into this except for to talk about the rap about Muslim headscarf.
That is like the weirdest
fucking
thing.
retarded.
Muslim women rapping. Are they rapping in English? They're not rapping
yes.
from Saudi Arabia, I assume.
This is very English. Oh, and apparently there's no white Muslims either.
What?
There's a statement she makes in there about how God, I wish I could remember the exact quote. My mind has been so fucked by this Syria thing. Something to the effect that they don't, that white people aren't Muslims, or they don't need help from any white people. And there's a great thing as she's talking in the background, you can see Malcolm X hanging on her wall.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Okay, Princess Buttercup has the link.
Okay, so she should be in here in a minute.
Yeah, you should just have to click it, and this will be your very first stream, as I understand it. It's a very auspicious occasion on which to have your first stream.
Yes. Trial by fire. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to keep making noises like that. I'm still going over news things that I can find on my phone.
Yeah, let me see the chat here. What are people saying?
Hey, what's going on with chat?
Chat, let's see. Bish Sharp says white people aren't Muslims. That's true. Okay. Bloodwing says just DM'd him. Oh, I don't know what that means.
Dumbed.
James Von Maxwell. The chat's moving too fast. 1 second. James Von Maxwell says, I think I read that 500,000 Syrians have died in this conflict. Holy shit, this I didn't know. In the entire conflict, I wouldn't be surprised if that number was true. Let's see. Jay Brown says, praise Yahweh, Trump is a true Gentile, and black men of America are the real Jews. Yes. Thanks, Jay Brown.
Black men of America are the real Jews. What does that mean?
So there's this.
There's
actually
men in America are the real Jews.
No, there's this movement of like the original or Black Israelites. I think is what the general term is, and it's a theory that either black people in general or African Americans in specific are actually the true descendants of the Israelites of like old Judea kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my very, very rough understanding of this. I've only seen a couple of pieces on it. So
yeah, I've seen a couple of videos on it.
Oh, we have a fourth person.
Buttercup.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. camera's on. I don't know if you want to reveal your anything in particular.
Oh,
but...
I talked to her yesterday about that.
Oh.
She's going to keep it aimed away.
Okay. So we're going to look at your ceiling for a while. Hello.
Yeah, sorry. I'm on my phone and I don't really know how to fix that.
Okay. Well, you'll just be a gray space for a while. So how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Well, it's been an interesting evening so far, to put it mildly.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on what we've been talking about?
Oh, I have a lot of thoughts on what we've been talking about. Not all of them are popular or probably going to go over very well with, people in general, but I'm very libertarian. I'm very, very small government, if you will.
Mhm.
So the whole thought that, we as a country feel the need to enforce our policies and our beliefs on other countries, despite, what they're doing being wrong, right, or otherwise, kind of drives me a little crazy.
Well, I think Scribe had said Better Red mentioned it earlier, because Donald Trump's rationale for this is it was a national security issue. Him saying that it's a national security issue because it's in our best interest to deter people from using chemical weapons. That's kind of a stretch, if you ask me. And again, I don't have a problem with us bombing people who used chemical weapons. For me, it's about how we went about it. If he did everything above board and talked to our allies, let the Russians know, hey, get your asses out of there, which it sounds like they did. I don't necessarily have a huge problem with it, other than the fact that this is an open act of war.
Well, right. And it's like, I mean, nobody knows me in real life, but if you talk to the people that I was around before this election happened, I kept telling people it doesn't matter who we get into office, the time is right for shit to hit the fan. So, I mean, I don't know, this whole thing bothers me. The whole idea that, we're seconds and one action away from a world war. And politics.
Yeah. Under the right circumstances, that could absolutely happen. I mean, look at how World War I started. It wasn't nations attacking each other. The slightest thing can set stuff off.
Do you think we're on the brink of World War III? I'm asking everybody because I don't know.
I don't. Not right now. This has the potential, but like I said last night, even if it was, I don't think World War III is going to be as horrible as we saw, in 80s movies.
But do you think at some point, maybe in the next 10 to 20 years?
Oh, who knows? I wouldn't have predicted Trump as president a year ago. Right. So it's like, who knows what's going to happen in 10, 20 years.
Yeah, for 20 years, we could have world peace. Who knows? I think there's a definite... I could see a world war breaking out.
Everybody's saying no, actually.
I could see World War breaking out in a few years if things continue the way they are.
I hope not. I'm not saying I want there to be a World War III, by the way.
No, whether or not there's going to be a World War III is, or that this is going to be the first, domino in that event. What happens in the next 72 hours is what is probably key. Like how do we, after the fact? I mean, this is the problem. I mean, it's that old, what's that old saying? It's better to ask forgiveness than ask permission, or something.
Yes. It's easier to get forgiveness than permission.
Right. So on that theory, it depends on how Trump asks forgiveness from those people that are disagreeing of him having done this, not only domestically, but especially internationally, and especially with Russia. And I would think, especially in the grand scheme of things, with China, who he is sitting at dinner with when these bombs are dropping.
Well, that was
still a surreal
just what was so off-color to me. I don't know if off-color is the right phrase, but just weird that he's like, yeah, let's do it. All right, I'll have nachos.
That's gangsta as fuck. That
Holy shit.
Of all of this, that's the part that makes me go, all right, I'm kind of with Trump there, because that's badass. We just bombed your ally and I'm going to order dinner with you.
Right?
It's literally a page out of The Godfather too.
I know. That is so savage. Like, Jesus.
Now, I'm looking at this from two different perspectives. Well, actually 3 or 4, because there's the theoretical, what I actually think will happen, which, because this was involved, or because Syria used gas on their own people, I think the world will give them a pass for acting unilaterally here. It's not like this was just because they bombed somebody. This was a chemical weapon used against people. And so I think what'll happen is he'll get a pass. Russia might be a little bit pissed off at us. Iran's still not going to attack Israel or us over it. They might saber rattle a little bit, but my gut feeling is this will blow over, no real repercussions. That doesn't mean it doesn't have the potential. That's where the theoretical part comes in. And potentially, yeah, this could set off World War III if you look at who all is involved here, because you have China, Iran, and Russia on one side, and then you have theoretically NATO on the other.
Well, now China is listed amongst a whole bunch of others, and they're just on good relations. They're not a key ally. Iran and Russia are the two most prominent, yes.
They are a key ally of Russia.
Yes.
So,
and we may have just blown up some Russian personnel.
Hey, we told them to get their asses out of there.
This
that's just it. Is the fact that we said to Russia what keeps this from being World War III? I mean,
well, a lot of times, yeah.
What keeps us from being World War III? Because Russia knows they'd lose.
I'm sorry, I got distracted. U.S. sought no approval from Moscow for the strikes. We told them that it was happening, but we didn't ask them for their permission.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So. Are they essentially trying to use that to say we didn't even tell them?
No, what they're doing is basically saying that Donald Trump is not beholden to Putin.
Well, no. Here's the other part too, and this is something that's I hate to use the word, but it's true in this case, a bit more nuanced. Us not getting permission from Russia is Russia also not betraying their ally, if you know what I mean.
Yes, that too.
If the message from the Kremlin was our support of Syria isn't unconditional and full stop, that is sort of like Russia saying we don't approve of this. Period.
According to Jeff Zeleny, I think is how you say it, Zeleny. He's a CNN correspondent. He's quoting Rex Tillerson of the U.S. Excuse me, U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. Tillerson, quote, "We sought no approval from Moscow or any other level within Russian infrastructure," end quote. Moscow not contacted. Ground forces were alerted. So we just called their asses.
Yeah. This somebody put it in the chat much more clearly. Plausible deniability. So Russia doesn't have to take responsibility for allying themselves or approving of a military action by the United States. So as far as their treaties or agreements or alliances are concerned, politically speaking, their hands are clean. That doesn't necessarily mean they disagree with or would then retaliate against it, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So this is all. This is a very delicate balance of what to say and what's important not to say at the same time. So, but you got to think. I got to believe that, well, publicly speaking, they're not going to say it. There had to have been some back channel shit.
Yeah.
There's got to be stuff that's below radar going on here all over the place. So.
Buttercup, when you had asked to come on, was there anything you wanted to talk about before Trump changed everything that was going on?
Not really. I just kite everybody and feel important.
For those of you who don't know Princess Buttercup, she's often in our chat. I think every chat that I've noticed.
Yeah, usually.
And she wrote us our poem.
Yes, I did.
And we
will you recite it for us?
Yeah, will you read the poem?
Yeah, you read it for us.
Well, I'm on my phone,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's where the poem is.
Cheater.
I'm sorry.
It's
Oh,
okay.
actually, no. You know what? No, I can read. I can read you guys the poem. Hang on one second.
God.
The magic of technology.
Happy
I-
SDA.
Yeah, exactly. Because I remember I spammed it onto like 3 of Monkey's videos and like 1 of Scribe's. So, hang on. Gonna work.
Great. You guys annoyed her now. Did you hear her voice there?
No, it's
Hang on.
no, it's not you guys. It's my
No, it's not us.
SDA.
It's the
You can say
chat.
it.
Yeah,
Whoa,
It's a-
whoa, whoa. Back up.
it's SDA's clogged sinuses. That's what it is.
No, it's so I'm trying to access it with a tablet that's actually hooked up to the mobile hotspot on my phone because I'm cheap and don't want to pay for Wi-Fi when I have unlimited data on my phone.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so I'm trying to use my lovely RCA tablet. It's an RCA tablet because I'm cheap as fuck. To find the poem real quick so I can read it to you guys. I don't remember which video I put that on. Monkey, do you remember what video I put that on?
I don't, and
Oh, that does not help. Okay.
Bad
Let me
monkey.
see.
I'm not a helpful monkey.
He's not.
I'll
No,
listen to you.
that's okay. No one accused you
You're
of
not
being
even supposed
helpful.
to be here.
What?
You realize you made me a liar?
What? What?
You made me a liar.
No. You said farewell, SDA. She'll be back.
But I told everybody that you would be gone as of yesterday.
Well, class got canceled.
Yeah. That's okay. You're welcome here, but you still turned me into a liar.
You were already a liar.
Hey, Princess,
Oh,
you
oh.
posted.
Oh.
What? What?
Oh.
What?
That
What
was
do we-
between me and Monkey.
Oh, okay, Princess, you posted the poem on my last Scribe stream. If that helps you at all.
Actually, it does, yes.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry, guys. I am awful.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
No, it's Monkey's fault.
Yeah. Monkey told me I could come on the stream, then he told me you would be on the stream, then Scribe sent me the link, and so I'm not prepared. I was just sitting back listening to you guys. All right. Oh,
Well, I was
found
actually
it.
hoping we were going to have a more fun stream. I'll let you read it here in a second. A more fun stream to have you on. This one got serious quick. Donald Trump is a bastard. I agree with everybody now.
This stream got serious quick. No, never mind.
Oh,
You
that
and your
was
goddamn dad jokes.
that was bad.
It got serious quick. Okay, go ahead and read it whenever you're ready.
Okay, so you want me to read this to you guys? My little ode to the live streams. Okay, so plungers, bananas, American war paint, opinions, musings, afros of taint. BDSM, your life makes me sad. Monkey Scribe and SDA have come to play. Shitpost galore, never a bore. Join in on the fun. Yay.
Yay.
All right.
That made me happy.
Posted quick. We snap around here.
Yeah, see,
Actually,
the
thank
only
you for
problem
writing
with that is every time I snap, my dog thinks I'm calling her because that's how I've trained her to come when she's like in the next room. So I'm doing the snapping over here, and now she is attempting to stand on me.
That's how Mrs. Monkey trained me to come too.
By
Gross.
standing on you.
And clicking.
And clapping you?
She snaps her
Standing
fingers
on
and
you
like,
and
"Ugh!"
snapping.
That's a really weird way to do a hand job.
Hey, got to do what works.
Well, I guess since you can't feel anything.
Oh, let's not talk about that again. Apparently, talking about my dick triggers me.
Let's see. Scotch
miss
wants
you
me to
guys.
mention that He Will Not Divide Us is moving to Finland.
4chan is still gonna find them.
Oh, I know.
They could go to Antarctica and 4chan would find a way.
Exactly.
That was amazing that they actually figured out the coordinates for that.
Oh, and when it was down in Tennessee or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
That killed me.
Let's see. Shia LaBeouf, Luke Turner, and Nasha Ronkos. He Will Not Divide Us live stream has recently become less anti-Trump protest art and more of an international game of capture the flag, waged between artists and the combined efforts of 4chan and 8chan. Last week, LaBeouf and his cohorts got schooled in Liverpool, England. They had to take down their stream after just one day when 4chaners scaled a roof in an art center to mess with the stream. So where will the stream go next? Members of 8chan's HWNDU board are speculating the new location will be Helsinki, Finland. It sounds random, but it's actually quite logical. The stream started in America, LaBeouf's home country. I really think it should be pronounced LaBeef, because if you watch the movie True Grit,
isn't it LaBeouf?
Well, it's either LaBeouf or LaBeouf. I think it's LaBeef.
The dumbass.
Because in the movie True Grit, Matt Damon's character has, I believe, if I remember correctly, the character's last name is spelled exactly the same, and then make a joke out of calling him LaBeef the entire time. So, let's see. LaBeef's country was America, and then they moved to the country of Luke Turner, which is England, and then the last person in the group, Nasha Ronko, is a native of Helsinki. So it only seems fair the group will give her home country the next shot. So 4chan is probably already readying people for a Finland assault.
I want to help Shia out here. I have a plan that will make sure 4chan does not pull down his flag.
Okay.
Put it up in Syria.
Nope.
They're not going to go fuck around over there. Nobody wants to die.
I think they'd find a way. I'm going to be honest.
You know what I would do if I were Shia LaBeouf?
What's that?
I would find one of my Hollywood friends, set up a tiny scale model of a flag at a real location with like a photograph in the background and film it from that angle and fake it being somewhere in particular, and they'd never find it, and just let it sit in a room somewhere forever. That's what I do.
The only way they're not going to find that flag is if they put it down in the tunnels under the White House, which kind of defeats the purpose.
No. You know, there's a couple of 4chan agents in the Trump administration who would be loving it to pull that flag out and put it in, and have a picture of them throwing it into the trash or something.
Somebody really needs to introduce Donald Trump to 4chan.
Oh, he knows about it. He's got to.
I don't think he does. I think he's too old for it. He's fucking 70.
No, I mean, he's got to. He knows about
70? It. Holy shit!
I don't think he's on it. I think he knows about it.
Like it's old.
I think there's no way someone as narcissistic as Trump doesn't know about 4chan.
Is it? Is he the oldest?
He would be a great troller.
Is he the oldest president to enter office?
No, I don't believe so. I'll check.
Because I think before that it was Ronald Reagan, and he was in his 60s.
I'm pretty sure he's the oldest incoming, but Reagan was older when he was reelected, I think.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you're right. The oldest president to assume office is Donald Trump, who was 70 years old. Let's see.
I think Reagan was like 68.
Ronald Reagan was the oldest in office at the age of 77 years when he left office. Yeah. So the oldest living president is George H.W. Bush.
Yeah. So Reagan would have been 68 or 69 when he got into office.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. He might.
He might what?
Know about 4chan.
Oh, like I said, I'm sure he knows about it. He might. I don't think he uses it unless he's like super duper good at it.
I think he should.
I mean, 4chan is like, at this point, one of the best intelligence agencies on the planet.
No,
like, there's nothing 4chan can't figure out.
Okay, this is horrible. I'm just rechecking the Fox News story about this, and in the middle of it is an ad that reads at the top, "Rest in peace with a $350,000 life insurance policy." Oh, I love unintentional humor. Okay, unless something else breaks on the whole Donald Trump thing, I'm pretty done with Syria right now. Buttercup, what's your favorite movie?
It's kind of a tie between the Rocky Horror Picture Show and, well, The Princess Bride.
Oh, makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, do you prefer Princess or Buttercup?
It either is fine with
Okay.
me. It's
I will make the choice. You are Buttercup.
okay. Buttercup works just fine. I mean, who
Yeah,
doesn't like being called
SCA is
princess,
the one.
though, right?
Yeah, but it's me, so no. I love you, but no.
Fight, 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 fight.
I'm going to start calling Scribe Princess because I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind because Buttercup just told me so.
I don't want to be princess.
Yes, you do, Scribe. Don't
Princess
lie.
Scribe.
I want to be the Duke of Earl. Duke, 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 Duke of Earl, Duke, Duke.
No, stop it.
You don't like that song? Okay, fine.
Oh, for those of
Naughty
you who watched my
Scribe.
latest video, if you paid attention, there's a new beginning to it. It's just slightly different. You can hear the grand monkey at the very end of
And
the
it's
song for the opening.
adorable. It's so
super
cute.
cute.
It's almost as cute as penguins.
Yeah,
I was gonna say she just went full penguin.
she really did. Yeah,
It's
just as the music,
adorable.
just as the music ends, you can hear little grand monkey going, monkey.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Oh, that's adorable.
She's actually saying ranting monkey, but the ranting part she didn't say real clear that time. She does this thing where she'll do lots of cute stuff until she knows she's being recorded, and then she'll stop. And as soon as you stop recording her, she'll do it again.
You just gotta
My
like,
cat does the same thing.
you gotta low key record her. My bird does that
Yeah.
too. She'll be doing something adorable, and I'll be like, "Do it for the camera." Then she just tries to attack my phone.
Did you just compare my grand monkey to your?
This is like the
Bird.
10th time we've had this conversation, and my answer is still yes.
That's the closest she can get to a kid, unless we don't know something in particular.
I just compared
Well,
your
she can
grand monkey to my cat.
Well, she was pretending to be a cat
True.
tonight, so that's a little closer. She was actually required. We had to pet her. Kids are great. You can't do that as an adult without, having to have a YouTube channel people to make fun of.
I mean, we can talk about the drama that happened with me if you want, because it's all about
Oh yeah,
me.
let's bring that up. You going to bed, baby?
Do you want to talk? No,
Night,
I'm not
sweetie.
going to bed.
Love you. I was not talking to you.
I know.
Okay, so if you guys joined us yesterday, SDA was talking about her video. You posted it yesterday, right?
I did, because Scribe sent me the video to
Yes,
talk about.
It was a young lady telling us how to write about people of color, or as SDA calls them, cocks, characters of color.
Characters of color. And it was funny because even after I said that, there were a couple of people in the comments using the abbreviated like COCs
Nice.
and upset that I pronounced it cocks. I'm like, then don't say it like that. Stop it. It's weird. So people got upset, and then she was up on Twitter trying to figure out how to get it taken down. And it's interesting because most of the comments that have come out of it for her is just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry you have to deal with this. It's okay. We love you. What can we do for you?
Okay.
And she's
real
like, I'm
quick.
being harassed. I'm like, you're being harassed with Play-Doh, if anything.
I'm going to attempt to bring chat back up real quick. So if I lose everybody, I apologize. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, and I was actually super nice in that video because I was like, she's a smaller channel. I'll behave. And I did, and it bit me in the ass. Next time I'm just going to be a bitch. She's ruined me.
Well, you were also very nice. You didn't link to the channel because the channel's so much smaller than yours.
Yeah, I did. And I said, if you're going to be mean, do it here. Leave her alone, blah, 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 blah. And then she was like, and she's not even crediting me. I was like, yeah, so that people don't go to your channel and irritate you. I can't win in this situation. So she was like, I guess I can't do copyright strikes. So targeted harassment. And I was like, you can't flag me for targeted harassment when I specifically say in the beginning of the video not to. Like, that's not how that works. That's not targeted harassment.
Right. There were a couple of interesting comments on that video. The one that really got me was the little white girl telling you don't know how people of color feel.
I'm like, yeah, and you do?
Was she the same one that said that characters, you don't know what baggage the characters come with? And in fiction, characters come literally with whatever baggage the writer gives them. Am I still here? Or did I get...
Yeah, no, you did. Sorry.
You're still...
okay.
No, you're right. And they're like, but you can't ignore the real world, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, why not?
Yeah, you can. You absolutely can.
I'm like, maybe my characters aren't racist assholes like yours. I don't know what kind of bullshit you're writing. But this is also looking at all the people who have been yelling at me on Twitter and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm so glad that I don't want to actually write young adult stuff, because all of this social justice stuff is mostly in the young adult genre.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't
It's moving
extend into adult or new adult, which is good. I'm happy about that, because that makes me want to neck myself. Like, I'm done.
Neck
it's really
yourself?
annoying. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I'm exhausted. I
You
tried.
don't sound like you're still a little bit stuffy.
Yeah, I am.
You need to lay off the cocaine.
I know.
The Ranting Monkey channel does not endorse the use of cocaine.
I know.
I have to say that because I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, so I just found it interesting. And then she said on Twitter she's going to not respond to anything. I'm like, nobody's tweeting you. You're not getting any responses to your tweets anyway. Oh,
do you know how she found you? Did somebody, do you know if somebody linked you to her?
Popped up. I think it just kind of popped up.
I saw some people commenting that her video showed up as recommended.
Yeah, it did. And I was like, oh, well, whatever. I tried not to.
Yeah. Yeah, look at it this way: if there is a harassment claim, YouTube forced you to harass her.
I mean, I don't know what kind of harassment claim you could make against that.
Oh wow! Another update. U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, who also addressed reporters, said that Russia was either complicit in the Syrian government chemical attack or was incompetent by failing to secure or remove chemical weapons.
Okay, so there goes trying to keep this sort of insulated.
Yeah. National Security Advisor H.R. McAllister said that he had given Trump McMaster gave Trump 3 options, and he chose on Thursday. I don't know why. I'm picturing the scene from the Simpsons movie where President Schwarzenegger is given the options on how to deal with Springfield, and they're just in sealed envelopes, and he picks one randomly. I hope that's how that happened.
Okay.
Yeah, we just accused Russia of either being part of that chemical attack or being fucking incompetent.
Right. And so there were Russians on the base that we bombed. We gave them a heads up, but now we're also publicly associating them with the activity that caused us to attack their ally.
Yeah. So for all of those who said we were being a little bit hyperbolic here, there you go.
Well,
what a shit show. Holy crap. And again, Buttercup, I apologize that this is the stream you came onto. We can have you on again when we're having more fun too. So,
oh, it's fine. It's fine. I don't mind. I've just kind of been sitting here thinking that my hand is getting kind of tired holding it up to the ceiling. And a couple of people in chat were right. I mean, my face is my, profile pic on there. So I'm trying to decide if I want to just tilt the camera and actually show my face or not. That's what I've been sitting here thinking about for a second. But I have been up since 4:45 this morning.
Jesus. Oh, dear God. Why? Is that a work thing?
Yeah, I work in a restaurant. We open at 6 a.m. I live about a half hour away from where I work.
Gotcha.
So I kind of have to get up about 4:45, 4:50 in the morning just so I can, zombie walk my way through the morning and get to work on time.
What's your worst customer story?
Well, my worst customer story isn't at the place that I work now.
Okay.
I've had a lot of them actually. I've been in customer service since I was 17 in some form or another, sales or this, that, and the other, restaurants, stuff like that. It would probably be, I worked in a truck stop, which I don't know if you've been in a lot of truck stops. I could probably stop there. But I had a guy come in and I'm standing on the outside of the counter talking to one of my coworkers because I was going to head to clean the showers because that was part of my job. I got to clean the showers. And he comes up and like runs his hand down my hair.
Ugh.
Oh, it gets worse. And like shivers went down my back and I walked away and I walked to the other side of the truck stop because like it's a travel stop actually.
Okay.
So we have like a gas station up front and like the truck gassing behind. And he follows me and he gets 2 inches away from me and he goes, "I'm gonna get ya." And I went, "No, you're not." And hid in the office until he left. And the manager wouldn't do anything about this guy.
That's creepy as shit.
Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that we had to deal with on almost a weekly basis. But then we got some interesting people. I had a guy give me a whole watermelon one day.
Like as a tip?
Like he had extra produce that he was delivering.
Oh,
so
okay.
He gave me an entire watermelon. He gave one of the other girls like 9 or 10 apples or something like that.
I was wondering if I was supposed to start carrying around fruit to tip with.
Hey guys, I'm sorry to cut in, but I actually need to go to bed because I gotta get up and get ready to go in the
I'm
morning.
not going to believe that until you actually go.
Get out of
You
here.
told me
Go away.
All right.
No,
I'll
actually,
talk to
I
you
hope you
later.
have a really good trip and
Have a safe
stay
trip.
safe. Have fun.
All right. Bye,
Have fun,
guys.
We'll miss you.
Bye.
Bye, sweetie. Chuck Schumer's released a statement on Syria.
I can only imagine.
Making sure Assad knows that when he commits such when he commits such despicable atrocities he will pay is the right thing to do. It's incumbent on the Trump administration to come up with a strategy and consult Congress before implementation. I salute the professionalism and skill of our armed forces who took action today. I did not expect that from Schumer.
No. That's awfully accommodating given Schumer's usual position on anything Trump does.
Yes.
That's actually,
like I said, the U.S. reaction to this is almost more interesting to me than the world reaction right now.
Yeah.
Especially, like I said, given Hillary's statements earlier. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see where that goes nationally. And I think I'm going to join SDA here. I think I'm going to end the stream. Buttercup, we will have you back on when we're having a more fun conversation. I am exhausted and can't stop refreshing my news page here. So let's say we call it a night here, guys.
Sure.
Oh, and there's Buttercup. Hi, Buttercup.
Hi, guys. And good night, I guess.
Chad, I'm sorry I couldn't interact with you tonight. I hope to have whatever's going on with this fixed by tomorrow, and we'll be able to interact a little better.
Yeah,
Thank you
and
guys
I'm
for
sure we'll have
watching.
plenty to talk about tomorrow too.
Oh yeah, yeah, we'll have more reaction on this. Thank you guys for watching. Scribe, Buttercup, thank you guys for coming. And Assad's life makes me sad. Night, guys.
Good
Night, guys.